First thing you do is, who told you you're bad? How is that bad? Look deeply into it. This is now contemplation. Realize that, do I really feel bad when you look at it, you go, do I really feel bad when I'm eating that Hostess thing, that Twinkie, now that they're back? The other thing, in terms of believing or positive thinking works, but boy, it's much harder than they make it out to be. Let's look at a ski jumper. So most of us have watched the Olympics, and they've seen one of the jumpers go behind that big stage thing where they have to come off. They mount themselves to go down that slope. And you'll see them kind of ducking their head, bending their head down, almost like prayer, and you'll see their body kind of moving as if they're going through the jump, which in fact they are. They're going through a complete rehearsal of that jump. They are smelling the air, they're sensing the air, they're told to use all their senses, all the sounds they might hear, which is probably a whoosh, but they might hear cowbells ring and things like that. But they put all that in, so there's their smell, their sight, their sound, maybe even taste if it's snowing. And then there's the muscular action. It's almost like in a dream, but you'll actually see them make a little effort like they were going to be pushing off from a squat. And they completely do a rehearsal of that jump. That's positive thinking. That's taking a situation that you think you're going to be entering in, or an interview or anything like that, not just ski jumping, and rehearsing it completely, moving it towards the end that you want to see it. A successful jump, a successful interview, a callback. And
how does that actually manifest? Like, how can you, if you don't believe you can do it, how do you change to believing you can do it? I mean, you can't just turn on a switch. And I think it's a cheat to say, I believe I can because I say I can. I mean, can be a disconnect there. Just because,
there's several issues here that you've raised. The first thing that I think you should do, or is to provide books with great uplifting stories in them about dogs, about people, about grandparents, about miracles at Christmas, about the acts of kindness by strangers. I think we need to surround people. If you're troubled, you got to surround yourself with good news, not bad news. You don't need to reinforce the bad stuff, reinforce the good stuff.
And in meditation sometimes, I'll be running and I'm trying to listen, and then all of a sudden my mind wanders, and then I listen again, my mind wanders, and I get frustrated. I feel myself get frustrated because I'm like, why can't I just freaking listen for like 5 minutes? Why can't you, right? And that's just that constant cycle. So I know there's a lot of things going on there, but there's probably like eight questions in that thing, but how does the frustration of those things coming up repeatedly, how do you?
The first thing you want to do is say, that's life. That's the way it works. Every time I want to do something, my mind wanders. It makes it a hell of a lot easier to deal with that when you go, that happens. And don't get in conflict with the fact that it happens. Don't get mad at yourself. It just happens.
No matter what.
And you smile. Eventually, you want to be able to smile at yourself. So you can do this. Can we name names on this podcast?
Sure. People in Australia won't really care.
Yeah.
But when you say, well, this is a conjecture, but when you say, when you look at that frustration, it goes away.
It really does.
It has to. Right? Because if you're looking at the frustration and it's all one thing, and you're not looking at this,
you're frustrated because you're looking at it.
Right, okay.
That's the trick. Once you look at it, that condition is gone.
Because it's not two separate people.
It's become past.
Right.
The vitality that this gives you, the energy it gives you to deal with very complex and miserable situations that come up in our daily lives is amazing. Like death when you don't expect it. All those things are amazing. What happens when you pay attention. All you're doing is paying attention to what's going on without that judgment, without judging your frustration. And that just makes you more frustrated. You just go, oh, I was going to swear. Oh, damn.
You already swore. It's cat's out of the bag on this one. For the record.
I did.
You might as well say the F word. I mean,
I'm not going to say the F word.
Okay. I mean, you're just saying you could.
I could have.
Because we were already going to.
Because, I just did that again. That's a great recognition. Don't condemn yourself for it. But you're already in that statement, it's a condemnation, and you see that too. Mm-hmm. You can get lost in seeing your responses to everything, which is fine, because everything is a response to everything else.
Right.
You're constantly moving, and what you're responding to is your own, think of it, what's outside of you. Everything is within your consciousness. You just keep responding to stuff within it, and eventually it subsides and becomes that absolutely quiet lake, that undisturbed sky, and you're it.